industry, especially companies like Massey, have operated in a continual state of violation and denial, that we've had a century of regulated manslaughter. You know, over 104,000 Americans and immigrants have died in our American mines, and for that to happen in 2010 unnecessarily is just wrong.
I want to go to Chuck Nelson right now, who has been an underground miner in West Virginia for 30 years, 8 of them with Massey Energy. Chuck, your response to, well, the CEO of the company you worked for years.
Well, you know, I listened to him say that some of these violations are not man-made, that they happen, and all mines have violations, which they do. But, you know, from the experience that I work with Massey Energy is that, you know, they broke laws every day to increase production. One of the major violations that happened was man-made, because what we would do would go up and we would destroy our ventilation system. That would be the first thing we do, and that was removing the line curtain, which directed the air current up to the working face, which diluted the methane from building up and carries it harmlessly out of the mines. So when, you know, you deliberately take down your ventilation system, you know, this is man-made stuff. These are not just violations that just happen. And, I mean, there was many things that went on with it was a violation to run 2 miners on sweep air where you only had one return. And the whole years I was with Low that, you know, they continuously run 2 miners. And I was sent to several different Massey mines, and every one of these mines operated in the same way.
Chuck Nelson, this is a non-union mine. What does that mean?
Well, it means that, you know, the worker, when he was told to do something, that, you know, you cannot file a grievance, you have to more or less do what you say, what they tell you to do, or else they'll tell you, well, we have a man to replace you for the next day. You can just go home. You don't need this job anymore. Whereas at a union mines, you have a union representation. You have a union fire boss. At a non-union mines, a fire boss is regulated by the company person, a salary person. So, you know, being from a union mines and having a union fire boss to go in and inspect the mines, he had a lot more care about his job, because it's his co-workers, it's his brothers that he's working with side by side. And working in the mines, you become a family. I mean, these are really close-tied individuals. And, you know, it was the difference between working at a union mines and a non-union mines is just like day and night.
I was watching the networks yesterday, and they were saying, they had a guest on who was saying, it's not a matter of unions, it's just a matter of MSHA, you know, the Mining Safety and Health Administration.
Well, you know, I know that they had sent inspectors at our mines before, like to check dust compliance, and these were federal inspectors, which was supposed to be with the workers the entire shift and never leave them. And at the Massey mines, they would have ways to bring the inspectors outside to say, we have lunch for you, or, you know, any way to stall them as much as possible outside, away from the working miners as they work. And we wore dust pumps, which measures the amount of dust that the miner is breathing. And as soon as the mine inspector would go towards the man trip, I mean, they had like watchdogs that once he got on that man trip and started outside, that they would come back up and say, well, the inspector's on his way out. And at that time, the section boss would come around and remove our dust pumps from us and take them over and hang them in fresh air, so they could get good dust readings, so they could stay in compliance. And so, you know, these are some of the type of the violations, the bad violations that happens. And I'm not saying that's what happened at this mine that exploded here 2 days ago. But, you know, it's been a pattern the whole time I worked there, that this is the way they operate.
I want to ask you what it's like to work in these mines, but we have to break. We're going to come back to Chuck Nelson, worked in the mines for 30 years, 8 of them at a Massey mine. Jeff Biggers with us also, just wrote Reckoning at Eagle Creek. His family has worked in the mines for years. He's been a journalist covering the mines of Appalachia for years. This is Democracy Now! Stay with us.